Stephen Devos asks, endogenous versus exogenous testosterone, are there differences between the two? Does it matter for the receptor, the effects, whatever, or does the body look at each of them exactly the same way?
Okay, I'm assuming Dr. Devos is talking about injectable, correct, Danny? I'm assuming
correct.
because
will there be a difference between the different methods of application if you're using cream?
Yes, because if you're using cream, it's bioidentical testosterone, correct? If you using
I thought all testosterone is bioidentical.
No, well, that's a myth that Mr. Bosa created, I think. No, because remember that testosterone, bioidentical testosterone, is equal to your own molecule that you have in your body. Now, if I inject it, it will have a CH3. It will have something added to that molecule so it can first bypass, and it can last longer. It cannot be the same.
Yeah, but it's attached to an ester. But once the ester gets cleaved, are you not left with the exact same testosterone molecule?
So, but it's not the same. So
all I know is that the carbon atoms are going to be slightly different in weight.
I love this. I'm gonna kick ass today, Danny Bosa. So I'm gonna let you come with your Rolls Royce, park on my house, right, with 4 fucking tires, and then I'm gonna let you leave with 2 empty tires. Is that the same car?
I'm gonna show up with a car with 4 tires. You got to take 2 tires.
It is the same car, right? Does it work the same?
Well, the car is the same, but I'm gonna have a hard time driving it. But you've
removed so now you're starting to learn. So no, it is not the same. It almost looks the same, but it's not the same. It's a xenotestosterone. It's a xenotestosterone. It's not a testosterone bioidentical. Bioidentical for me is if I look at the molecule that I'm introducing into your body, it's the same one as your body. Now, testosterone cypionate, testosterone anthonate, testosterone whatever, those are not bioidentical. Maybe after conversion, yes, as identical, but you have to still cut that molecule so it becomes bioidentical. You see what I'm saying, Danny?
Yeah, but once the molecule's been removed and been cleaved, are you not left with the same testosterone molecule with the carbon atoms slightly different, but the rest is essentially the same?
You still change it. You still went through a change. To make it bioidentical, you said it yourself, I still have to cleave that molecule. So you're telling me you're taking a molecule that is not the same and you're cleaving it to make it the same. Is that bioidentical?
Yes and no. Let's assume I've got. I'm just gonna do a stupid analogy. Just what I got here. Okay. I got this is testosterone.
Yes.
Yeah. I attach an ester to it. Okay.
Yes.
It's actually DHEA. We're gonna call this an ester. Okay. It's attached.
Is that, wait, stop there. Stop there. Is that bioidentical to your body?
This as is will no. But once this. But once this ester gets cleaved off, are we not left with the bioidentical testosterone?
Now you are, yes, but it wasn't.
What are we arguing about?
It doesn't act the same because you still have it. You still have to have. Okay, let me give you the best sample. I need to answer Stephen's question. No, Stephen, they're not the same. If you're using a cream bioidentical outside of the body with an injection inside the body, they are not the same. Okay. And after years of using many routes and many things, bioidentical does not do the same as the injection, even if I give you the same amount of dose.
What if it's testosterone suspension?
I will not. Okay, if I give you a testosterone suspension and I give you a cream testosterone, they do not act the same. They do not have the same results. The best way to explain this, Stephen, is the injection is a F14, the cream is a Rolls Royce. I get to the same place, but one takes longer than the other. Okay, that's the best way to explain. Are the results the same? Absolutely not. And let me explain why, Stephen. I have a few morons in my office, right? A few morons. I won't mention names. And you put on a cream 200 milligrams, right? And you said apply it twice a day, which is a hefty dose. 400 every day, correct, Danny? Is that a hefty dose or not?
200 milligrams of cream twice daily?
Yeah.
Is a high dose, yes.
It's a nice, no, let's not call it high, let's call it nice.
It's a nice dose.
And I take that same person and I change it to an injectable 400. The effects are absolutely
per day or per week?
Per week.
Okay.
They're absolutely different. 200 milligrams or 400 milligrams of testosterone bioidentical by cream and of the same effects as the 400 milligrams per injection. And anybody can try that themselves, and you're going to find out why. First of all, the injection gives you a massive amount of testosterone coming in, right? Number one. Number two, yes, you have to cleave it, okay? And by the way, I'm going to prove how Danny's super, super wrong, by the way. If I give you testosterone by cream, bioidentical, how high do your liver enzymes go? And what happens when I give you an injection? How high do your liver enzymes go? Okay, Danny doesn't know this, but I'm always like to experiment. I have beautiful patients. And I give a shot in a patient in the office, and I wait 2 hours. And I go check the liver enzymes, which I will tell you the secret right now. But I do the same thing with that patient, right? With cream, and I check his liver enzymes at the same time, 2 hours later. Based on Danny's theory, right? Based on Danny Bosa's theory, the liver's enzyme should be the same because I give you the same, correct? Which it is.
No. I wouldn't say that, because the cream is technically going to get absorbed quicker than the injections, yes. Would it not?
No, that depends on the person. Also, that depends on the skin. It depends in many
Applied
things.
scrotally?
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but it can be lipodermic or versa-based. It depends what you're using, number one.
Versa-based. Let's assume versa-based is applied scrotally. Would that not absorb faster than someone getting an injection with cypionate?
No, that actually also depends. There are people that, okay, this is funny. If you do an MRI on a person that is taking injections of testosterone, depend on the suspension, meaning which oil you're using, you can have a very fast absorption. For example, if I use, and you're not going to believe, cottonseed oil, it will take weeks to absorb. So you're correct. If I use cottonseed oil, it will take weeks to absorb that. What happens if I use MCT, Danny? Do you know?
MCT, I wouldn't be sure. Okay.
I do know.
I'm sure you'll tell us.
It's awesome to have many guinea pigs. So it depends. Now, if I check the liver enzymes, even though the shot takes longer, that's what I use 2 hours. The reason I use, I take it back. In a woman, we use 4 hours. Okay, and the reason I did that was because she did it on her own. You know, she just came up. I just did this, and I want to check my levels, and I did cream. I want to check my levels. And actually, the bioidentical cream, liver enzymes were just slightly elevated. But with the injection, they were highly elevated. So for those people out there that are taking injections, by the way, and you go check your blood, let's suppose you want to find out exactly what your max is or whatever, you go up, check your liver enzymes because they're going to be elevated, because the liver has, like Mr. Bosa said, has to cleave that molecule. So after you cleave that molecule, yes, it becomes a bioidentical hormone, but before you did absolutely did that. Now, I'm going to ask a question to Mr. Danny Bosa. Does testosterone cypionate without cleaving it, does it binds to the receptor?
Without cleaving it?
Yeah.
So the ester is attached. We're using cypionate.
Yeah,
the body decides I'm not cleaving this ester. Would it attach to the receptor?
Yes. Ooh, I love this question.
No idea. Never thought of that one.
Well, you know what?
If I had to take a guess, I'd say no, but I could be.
Okay, remember, a xenoestrogen looks like an estrogen and it still binds to the receptor. So now a testosterone, like testosterone, might bind to the receptor, and yes, it can happen. Now, this is interesting. I don't think I had never seen a research, and I might be wrong, maybe somebody out there has a paper in which I can look at the receptor binding properties of the testosterone cypionate intact molecule versus bioidentical testosterone, which I'm sure is not, because there's no money to be made out of that. But I bet that testosterone cypionate will bind to some receptors, okay? Now, I want to ask you a question, Danny. What gives you worse acne? Okay? The testosterone cypionate injection or the testosterone cream?
I haven't tried the cream yet, so I can't comment.
Usually the injection will give you worse side effects with acne. Again, if we compare your weight, the way you have told people, which is the correct smaller dosages, still the injection will give you more side effects of acne than the same amount of testosterone bioidentical. That I do not know. I don't know why. Maybe because the liver has to be working harder to clean that testosterone out of there. But you know, it might be the reason. Now, we're talking live here, and if somebody that is listening to us have I want if I'm wrong, please show it to me. I don't mind. I love controversy, and I'm an MD, no GOD. So bring it on, because I want to see it. And
I'm not seeing any comments yet about this, but if this was the case,
yes, sir.
And they say typically that cypionate and enanthate are pretty much interchangeable.
Okay.
Due to the very summer half-life.
Yes. Okay.
Does that also mean that the amount that the body has not yet cleaved the ester from, that those two esters would have different effects on the receptors due to the different esters?
Yes, I think it will absolutely do. Also, it's interesting. You know what? I got to show you my office. Remind me that I'm going to give you a call. In my office, I have testosterones in this little area, and I have different oils. I have it on flaxseed oil. I have it on MCT oil. I have it on avocado oil. I have it on castor oil. I have it on canola oil. I have it on another oil. I forgot. I have it marked in the office, and all of them have different what I call resolution or absorption in the body. It's pretty cool how they work. So the oil dictates. For example, there's a I don't know if they have this in Canada. It's called Avid. Have you heard of that one? AVED. Yeah, it's testosterone deconate.
Oh, Avid.
Yeah.
AVEED. Yeah, it's the equivalent of Nebido or something like that.
Testosterone deconate. Yeah, it lasts 6 months. So you give yourself a shot 6 months. Now, here in the United States, they have it oral now. I don't know if you know that. And actually, this is funny for you to know. When I give testosterone deconate oral, the liver enzyme sky high. This is oral, sky high. So you have to check the liver the first year for every 3 months, and then after that, every 6 months. Why? Because oral increases the amount of liver cleaning system. So another way to put this, Stephen, if I give you a shot, right, and this shot has some dirt with it, the cleaners have to come and clean that. So they have to work a little harder. Now, the bioidentical is totally clean, quote unquote, and you don't have to bring as many cleaners as to clean it. That's why. So yes, there's a difference between bioidentical injections, like Danny calls them, and bioidentical cream that comes out as bioidentical testosterone or equal to the molecule. So yes, there are differences. Now, I saw a case, and the good thing in my office is that I see the difficult cases. I never see easy stuff. Is when they come to see me, they have gone through everybody. And I had a guy that every time that he took shots, his liver enzymes were super sky high. He went to the gastroenterologist. He had biopsies done, and he actually needed it. I felt pretty bad for him. And I said, you know what? You've been trying injections all your time. Let's use the cream. Absolutely, Danny, nothing. He went up from maybe 36 to 49, 51, something like that with the cream. But on the injections, it was 200, 250s. So it was significant. Now, be aware that, of course, if you're working out and doing testosterone, that's going to increase your enzymes anyway. So now you're adding to increase the testosterone plus the activity levels that increases the liver enzymes higher. So in this case, what I did, I asked the guy not to exercise at all for 10 days to see what the shot was doing. And every time he injected, it was going up to 240, 260. The bioidentical testosterone didn't do it. It was only 51. That was the highest levels I got. So be aware of that, guys. Yes, it is a little bit different. I know that people are going to tell me they're bioidentical. I'm not going to accept that. But if somebody out there has, anything to say, I'll likely hear it.
Yeah, this pretty much mirrors the conversations I've had with Neil Rousier, where he tells me that the patients he gets on the cream, their levels get up there, and he just stops measuring them. And the question I had to him was, well, if you're getting patients that their totals are sometimes hitting over the 2000s or whatever, could I just not take 500, 600 milligrams of testosterone injectables a week and get my levels there? Would it be the same? He's like, no, it doesn't. He says the levels all depend on what type of testosterone you're using, whether it's pellets, whether it's cream, whether it's shot, depends on when the levels are tested in relation to the dose. He says, so levels, measuring them, it doesn't really tell you a heck of a lot.
That's what happened. Neil is a real doctor. He's clinically oriented. He's not paper oriented. And there's two difference of physicians, and I teach in two universities right now, and the problem that I have is with the COVID, their medical students quality is great, right? Because they're great, but the amount of experience, it is incredibly low, and it's because what the schools did to them. Oh, COVID, let's stop them because they cannot get the disease, and let's stop it. They cannot learn, and they only learn from books or little videos and stuff like that. And there's nothing that actually seeing the patient, testing the patient, looking at the patient, being a Sherlock Holmes for that patient. You know, when in my office, Danny, when I have a patient, I don't look at the patient. I look at the patient when they're coming in. I see how they walk, mannerism, how they sit, how they move their fingers, how they move the hands, do they swing the legs, are they twisted? All these things. I can tell you which side of the bed you sleep by looking in your nose. You know, all the things that you can do just by truly looking at the patient without even asking questions. So,
what side of the bed do I sleep on?
I have to look inside of your nose, but I will be able to predict.
You got to look inside?
You have to look inside, yes.
Okay,
Because what happens is, for you guys, for those that are physicians out there, if you take an otoscope and you look inside your nose, right? I'm not playing with my boogers here, but and one of the sides of your nose is going to be slightly enlarged, or the turbinates are going to be swollen. And the reason, there can be allergies, can be a cold, whatever. And the body is very smart, so you will tend to sleep on the side that is swollen, because the blood flow, gravity, is blocked. Let me block them more, but let me the open one stay open. And that's nature, by the way, but it works amazing.
Mizumi is the #1 product for acne problems on TRT. Check out the products using the link in the description under this video.